Hello, my lovely listeners. My name is Megan, and I have the wonderful pleasure of interviewing both Charlie and Reece and having a little sit down as they celebrate their 25 years of filmmaking. Say hello.
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 Oh, wow. Where to begin? I mean, I hope it's been a good 25 years.
Well, we could say a good 25 years, but being handcuffed to a wall in the basement is not the greatest of ideas, but we can live with it.
25 years of friendship. It's. I'd say two things. It's gone quick, and it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been quick and it's been fun.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Hopefully not too quick.
I don't know. I feel my old age happening right now. So,
It's weird you say that because it didn't start off quick, but I'd say maybe since I've left college, maybe it's gone quicker.
Okay. Well, how did you guys meet to begin with? What started this journey?
Oof, we've known each other since we were 7 years old.
Yeah. So my earliest memory, even though we were I don't know, my earliest memory is when we were at our school. I think what was it?
1999.
Yeah, but 999. There was a moment where we were hanging out, talking about our hobbies and that. And then there was a 2, 3. I think it was a 5 year.
No, it was
No?
3. It was 3.
3 years.
3 years. We so basically my earliest memory was I remember we used to have a very small classroom and we had these very odd benches we had to sit round in. Not benches, but they were like wooden seats. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but they were
yeah.
stuck together. I used to call them wooden benches anyway. And
They were wooden benches.
But I think the earliest memory I have meeting Charlie was I think I swear I had a book or something, and I remember he was looking at me reading this book, and we just kind of got on. We just talked about that book, but I think I can't remember. Oh, it might have been an animal book because I remember I was an animal. I'm an animal lover, as you know.
But the thing is though, that isn't my earliest memory. But obviously, I had
there are little
other
flashes.
connections. Yeah. But my the earliest memory I can remember is when you were coming back.
Yeah, that was 2004.
Yeah. And I had to force you out the car.
I had very bad anxiety back then.
Yeah, I know. and I came over because you were. I knew you were one of my closest friends back in the day as well.
Yeah. We just kind of picked up where we left off.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a 3 year gap because I had to go to a horrible school between. But when I got back, it was like we didn't really care for those 3 years. We just kind of said, you know what, it doesn't matter, we've reunited, let's just pick up where we left off.
Absolutely. What point was it that you realised that you wanted to go into these filmmaking projects together? Was it right at the very day one?
No,
it wasn't.
No, it was actually from. Well, I wanted to be originally a wildlife presenter. Because I still am a massive David Attenborough fanatic. I mean, I've got pretty much all his documentaries. I watch all his documentaries. But back then in the late 90s, it wasn't all DVDs back then. It was all, it's always on the television. And I recorded on VHS tapes. And I remember they were just that was what I wanted to do. That was my journey to pursue. But then with me, it kind of got to I like how they go out and film these documentaries. So I was like, and my dad, being a kid, he was like, oh, it's camera tricks. You just go out and film it and all that. So my mum and dad got me a camera when I was about 7 or 8. And I used to go out and film animals and stuff like that. And I was just mesmerised by doing that. And I thought, wow, I actually love the whole filmmaking process. So that's how my journey kind of started. But I remember with Charlie, he originally wanted to be something to do with dogs.
So I don't know. I think it was kennel care. At my youngest age, it was to do with kennel care. I think I wanted to do with kennel care, and then later on in life, I got a form of inspiration to do form of acting because of the situations that we used to imagine when we were hanging out all the time and just imagining all these things.
It's
and that's kind of inspired me.
We used to watch sitcoms though, didn't we?
Yeah.
We used to be a fan of sitcoms and stuff like that. And, and we used to joke about it and say, can you imagine that was me and you?
Yeah, it was interesting because back then it was I wanted to do because of the scenarios that we came up with, that's like that was kind of what I wanted. Like I kind of ended up wanting to do that. So acting was more of a pursue, and then filmmaking was enough for Reese's pursue, and then we just meld together. It's like, oh, why don't we just do things together?
I remember as well, he said to me, and I've never forgotten this.
Mm-hmm.
He said the reason he wanted to do acting was because of me.
Yeah, no, that's no lie.
I've never forgotten that. It was such a touching moment.
It was because we kept doing like all these wacky scenarios when we were like when we were in school and that, and it was just like that's probably one of the motivational factors of why, I wanted to do acting, you wanted to do filmmaking, and then we just ended up doing stuff together because it was the same meld, and then it ends up being okay. We're ending up producing our own stuff rather than going out there. We're just doing our own thing within our own hobby.
We used to love doing that, and I remember at one point when we were saying all this, we was like saying things like, oh, we're gonna do duo stuff and do our own TV series and stuff, and we kind of have sort of done that now. We have kind of gone on that, and so our dream has kind of been ticked a little bit, and people have often gone, God, your chemistry is so good and all this, and you bounce off each other and you make us laugh, and they meet us and they laugh at how we interact with each other,
Yeah.
No, it's great. I love seeing like just the organicness in your guys' relationship, and that translates both in the day-to-day and on the screen. Like watching you back, you can tell that like those two on screen aren't strangers. Like they've built this bond, and the dynamic and everything you get out of that through your work has been incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I can say on that remark is that what you see on camera is actually reflective on what's real life between us.
Like me playing the dumb guy and him playing the angry guy.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about the projects then. To this day now, how many projects have you guys completed together?
Reece has the catalogue in his head.
Flipping heck. I'm going to try and remember this in a sort of orderly fashion. So there was the UK Beast, we've done Archie and Jim series, but we kind of count that as one big thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to say Archie and Jim as a whole. We've done some feature films together, done Big Crime in a Small Town, we did Cold Street, we did Wonders of Alice, we did The Wonders of the Looking Glass.
Mm-hmm.
We've done... what else have we done? We did... I'm just trying to... Because I know there's projects that he is in and there's projects that he's not in. I'm trying... Oh, scripting.
Yeah,
scripting.
Yeah.
That was the most recent one we've done together.
And...
Just trying... I think... Is that everything? It probably is. I don't know. I think that probably is.
We've done a few.
Yeah,
we've done
quite a lot.
Shorts as well, which is like...
Yeah, like we done a few random... Yeah, like we've done a few random shorts and bits and bobs. But I'd say in total, I'd guess about, as a whole, I'd say about maybe 10 or 11 projects together. That's just a numerous guess. But yeah, we've done quite a lot. I mean, I always used to joke and say he was my Johnny Depp to my Tim Burton. Because in a way that we do have kind of very similar relationship. But what I love is sometimes what we used to do, we used to come up with like, there was one thing we tried to do that never worked. It was called Robin Hoodies, by the way. And what we filmed some scenarios in those episodes, or whatever you want to call them. And there was one that we did called Golf Hockey. I actually said to him, I've got this random idea for a beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
Me and you play golf hockey. He said, what's golf hockey? I said, it's just me and you playing hockey, but with golf clubs and a golf ball. And he's like, okay, that sounds random. Let's go and do it. And luckily, my mum's ex at the time had a bunch of golf clubs. So I actually went in the shed, took 2 golf clubs, took a golf ball, went out on this field, and we just ran, and we filmed out. We was out on the field for like 4 hours, filming all these scenarios where we're beating the shit out of each other with golf clubs. And because it wasn't part of the whole film, I thought it actually works as its own short, even though it's meant to be a scene. So I chopped it as a short film, sent it out, and oh my God, everybody loved it. They thought it was the most hilarious things we ever did.
Yeah, that was the most amount of physical comedy I think I did for...
So let me just talk about the editing part of it, because when I started editing Golf Hockey, it was the best editing I had so far because of sound effects and stuff. I showed Charlie the next day when the golf ball hit him in the face. Oh my god, did we laugh?
Yeah, yeah. No, that was really good editing because it looked like the ball actually directly hit me in the head, and then afterwards
It was your
I threw
reaction as
yeah,
well.
it's like I threw myself on the floor like when I've recorded that scene as well. So after cut, you just see me falling backwards after what looks like the ball hit me in the head.
It was just like I remember when I was editing that, it was the slow motion of it as well that made it funny because his
Mm.
reaction looked like he was in pain as well, and that's
Oh.
what made it really funny. But but the reaction was really funny, and I'll just never forget. We was in the canteen and we were just like wetting ourselves laughing, and everyone was just looking at us like, "What the hell's wrong with these two?" In fact, we've had loads of that situation.
I think it's for every film. Is like, what the hell is going on with these two guy people? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll bring more like physical slapstick into future projects? Bring it back? Golf Ball Part
I,
2.
well, Golf Hockey Part 2, yeah. I would love to always bring it back. I love that old school style of comedy because I grew up watching so much slapstick stuff, and it depend. But what I don't like is it depends how you use it. It has to be used in a very clever way. I tried to use it in a way that would either be very unusual or good timing.
Yeah. Well, you know, in future projects, if it requires slapstick, physical slapstick, we'll do physical slapstick. You know, I have no issues with doing more physical slapstick.
I think the last slapstick thing we ever did was probably the Wonders of Looking Glass because there's a
Mm.
scene where I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a scene where my character and his character. Although it's slapstick, it's very stupid. We fight in slow motion, but it's not slow motion.
Yeah, yeah. It was a fun scene to do.
We just kind of said, what if these characters were fighting for so long, but they exhaust themselves nearly to death, but they still won't give up until one of them's actually almost dead.
So, I mean, so many projects and so many stories, but were there any kind of major challenges that you faced either within specific projects or just within your journey that really kind of stood out to you? And
There's been a few. I'm not gonna lie. I think one of my worst experiences was doing the Wonders of Alice short film.
Mm-hmm.
I did not enjoy that weekend at all. When it was finished, I said to Charlie, "I want to go home and cry," and I almost did
Yeah.
because it was such a horrible weekend. We had two very horrible actresses we didn't get on with, and they were unprofessional. Um, we just said, you know what, it was ridiculous. I hated the final result.
This is the first one, isn't it?
Yeah,
The first one we
the
showed.
2017. Yeah, no, the
Yeah.
movie was
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoyed making the film, but we'll talk about the enjoyment part afterwards. But the
Yeah.
horrible experience was that short film.
Yeah, this is the first take of Wonders of Alice, not the final product, the first product that we tried to do, and then we just canned that one because
Well, I mean, no, we did get it finished, but
yeah,
we didn't like the end result anyway. We still released it, but I've never watched it since,
no,
and I don't like it. But to be fair, if it wasn't for that short film, we wouldn't have made the movies. So to be fair, there was a positive side to it,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, that weekend it was horrible. I remember I said this is the worst weekend I've had in a long time, and I was very upset. And I mean, I did it, but I said to Chai, I finished it by the way, but you don't have to watch it. He went, I'm not going to. I said, yeah, neither am I. But amazingly, it did get a positive reception. People watched it, said, oh, this is good. I said, oh, cheers. I said, but I don't like it. But now I vowed myself never to release a short film that I don't like or any film. If I don't like it, I will not release it because I think it's not gonna. I mean, there's been many projects I have tried to make which never hit the books. There was a pilot I tried to do called Family and Friends. That turned out horrible because I had an actor in there I didn't want in the film, but Rennie said, "Oh, come on, put him in the film." That was you know who.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated the final result because they didn't even follow the script. I gave them a script and they didn't follow it, and they would just come out with all this gobbledygook, and I was like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? Like, seriously, follow the script." No, I don't. I don't want to follow the script. I want to. Oh my god, and that was horrible. So I deleted the whole thing. I said I hate it. I'm getting rid of it. I said this is a shit project. I don't like it. I'm going to can it. So I got rid of that. There was a couple of short films I tried to get out once. There was one called White Little Rabbit, that I wrote. This was something that no one actually even knows. It was a short film I wrote called White Little Rabbit, and it actually was going to have the character from Crime Ballet in it
Mm.
and stuff like that. Robin Ronnie, that's what I called him. And it was just basically there was a magician who has a hat, and then Robin Ronnie pops up and he tries to steal the hat, and that was the idea. He tries to steal the magician's hat. But the reason I got rid of it was because the actor who played the magician, I've even forgotten their name, but this guy that I hired to play the actor, oh my god, he was just awful. He could not act at all. But it was weird because he was a good actor on his show reel, but when he was doing the performance on my film, it was like working with a puppet with no strings. It was like you were literally trying to control him, and he wouldn't do what he was told. It was weird, and then it was like he wasn't trying to do a magician thing. I was like, I said, "What the fuck are you doing?" He said, "I just do it," and he just couldn't do it. So I looked at it and I thought, "This is awful." So I deleted the whole thing, and I never worked with that actor ever again. and yeah, and I think another not a bad experience I had, probably just a bit of a weird experience, was when I was working on the Looking Glass film. That was a very stressful time because the lead actress in that one was not as fun to work with as in the first film. We did the first movie, it was fun. But the sequel, I don't know, there was definitely something in the air with everybody. Everybody was, apart from Charlie and Sammy and Charlotte and a few others, the lead actress and some other people, they were really negative. Like they were very stressed and negative. And I was like, what's wrong with you guys? What's going on? Oh, we're all right. And it was just constant, like real spiteful words and not very nice people. And I thought, wow. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. It's just all over the place. So to be honest, I didn't really enjoy doing the sequel as I enjoyed doing the first movie. But the second film did turn out all right, and I was really glad of it. I'm glad it came out great, and I still love the movie. But yeah, I've had loads of experiences where it hasn't always gone well. But then what happens is I just tend to go, oh well, knock it down now and just carry on because I'm so used to it now. It's like, for example, if I hire an actor for a role, I will get a plan B or C actor as well, just in case. Or if I know it's not going to go well, I think, all right, I'm not going to make this film yet. We'll do something else. And normally they end up turning out a lot better. I mean, if you look at scripting, it had a very different story, and it was originally about Eddie trying to direct a pantomime, but then it didn't happen because the actors I had there were very unreliable, and they didn't even want to. They didn't even want to meet up to talk about the film. It was weird. It was like, why don't you want to talk about the film? Well, I'm casting you, and they don't want to do it. So I changed the story to what it was now, and it ended up being the best, great experience we ever had, wasn't it? It was great. We had a really good time filming that short film. So sometimes you do need a bit of the badness to get to the goodness.
Yeah, hopefully you can take them as like learning experiences.
Exactly, and you know which actors never to work with ever again.
But that then just helps you kind of find the people you work really well with, and you get to form like these great relationships and great teams.
Yeah.
That...
Oh, I have a cast family. I call him my cast family. I've got Charlie.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's been cast family day since day one. I've got we've got a great bunch of people. We've got Sammy, we've got Charlotte, we've got Rennie. They're our close friends. And I always say that you only need about like 10 good close friends, and that's all you need.
Oh, amazing. Well, that's to talk about like the negative stuff, but also we need to talk about the positive. And are there any kind of iconic moments that really stick out? Once again, either in the productions or just within the journey of your guys' friendship and everything. Times that really stood out to you, that really drove you.
I really want to hear what he's got in his mind for
that. So Big Crime in a Small Town, obviously one of the pinnacle filming projects that we've done as a starting block. I think as a project that we've done, I think it's one of the best projects, like one of the best early projects that we've done. It was well scheduled, it was well maintained. We had everything together. We knew where we were filming. We knew how we were planning, how everything was shot. Like as an early basis, I think that was one of our greatest starting points. And then also Lime, I have to shout that out.
Yes,
because Lime was probably one of the starting pinnacles of our like good comedy series roots as well. Where for me it inspired for a crazy duo character basis. Like it was so simple, so easy to film, straightforward, and it just melded well, and it bloomed into a good couple of series for us. And
Mm.
it was they were like one of the two great. I think they were one of the two greatest filming projects that we've done for like for our
Feature
feature
films,
lengths.
yeah.
It's Big Crime in a Small Town because that was the first starting block of our uh, route.
That's what started it all, really,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
no, that was the definitive route. That was the definitive film that started everything that we are today.
Mm.
And then Lime is also the projects that I felt that we should do because how we were as a duo, like from our childhood to now. We used to make up scenarios all the time. I've always wanted to make it into a short film project, and Lime was like the first real film project that melded our two friendships on that project. Like those are the two best projects in my mind. They for us.
For me, there's quite more than that. Um, I right. So first of all, yes, Big Crime in a Small Town, hands down. Really enjoyed doing that. I didn't expect that to be a feature film, but it did. And I phoned him up and I said, "Guess what? It's 46 minutes long. We've made a feature." And he
Mm.
was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." So we've done it. So that gave me a lot of confidence to go, "Oh, I could go out and do more of that." So, because I remember when I was moving to London, he was like, "Go to London, make friends with actors, and let's make another feature film," and stuff like that. I remember he was really pushing me to make more. So yeah, so definitely Big Crime in a Small Town. What else with him? I'm just trying to think because I've got loads of great experiences with and without him in terms of the filming, but I do have some really great moments. So with Archie and Jim, yeah, let's talk about Archie and Jim. Yeah, Lime was the start of it all. Definitely, I did enjoy doing Lime, but personally, my favourite Archie and Jim episode that we actually filmed was called "Payback to a Rich Man," and that episode is where I mean you've probably seen the clip. It's when Archie and Jim tried to steal the car from their old college bully, who's now rich and successful and snobby, and he brags about his nice car that he's even slept in. And and he and they go, right, do you know what? We're going to get revenge on him. We're gonna nick his car and sell it off for millions. And he ends up being in the car because he's got the keys anyway. So the episode, the reason I love that one so much is because the jokes in it just worked. I for some reason I was on fire with the jokes. I was writing all these jokes, and I remember I was pitching it to Charlie, and he was wetting himself at all the jokes, like the bit where Jim locks the car, the keys are with the guy. The fact that Jim's dad was a cowboy or a milkman, the policewoman interviewing him, the guy's real name is Shane Bigcock, and he's
Mm.
trying to pretend, yeah, that's my name, but he can't get the
Mm.
name right. And Jim kind of almost ruins the plan as well by almost spilling the beans. Plus, there's an unconscious body in the back seat with a policewoman outside the car, and it's like you just can't make. Like I don't know how I managed to make it up, but it was just brilliant. It was just, oh my god, we have got to make this episode, and it can work. And the fact we'd done it, I remember when we got it out and I showed it to people. I was laughing so hard because people were messaging me on Facebook and everything, and they said, "Reece, this episode is insane." like, and I was texting him as well. And I said, "Guess what? People love the episode. I'm getting like, he's like brilliant." And yeah, so that was one of the best moments I'd say as well. Plus, there's been loads of other Archie and Jim great moments, but I think definitely Payback to a Rich Man. I also enjoy doing The Wonders of Alice because this is the feature film, by the way, because I love the scenarios with Hattington and Richard. And one of my favourite moments was the ballroom scene where there's a bit where Richard is trying to find out what the princess is up to, and then she pushes him towards Hattington, and they have like a little dance moment, don't they? They put their hands together, and then and then he goes, "I want that rose," and he pushes him off, and they chase each other throughout the whole dance sequence, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then he's hitting the radio, and it changes to different music, and all the characters are dancing to different music. I just love it because it's a Charlie and Reece moment, and it's just a moment for me and him to have our little duo moment in that movie. And I just think if you put these two together, the scene's not going to go. So there's that. And I think my other top one, I'm going to just pick one more, is Outsmarted. And the reason I love doing Outsmarted with him was because this is the thing I always do. When me and him have a scene together, I on purpose write us a lot of dialogue. because I know that me and him are going to come up with something different, something more stupid, the ad-libbing. Like when we did Outsmarted the last episode of Series 1, there was so much ad-libbing, there was so much crazy acting. We didn't follow the script as much, and the jokes in it were absolutely hilarious. And it was just the performances of both of us acting crazy, and it just worked. And we look back on it, and we even look back on the bloopers, and it's hysterical. And I said to Charlie, I write these scenes on purpose long because I know me and him aren't going to stop, because it doesn't stop. I know when it doesn't stop, because I could write a scenario with me and him in one room, and the pages could literally, I'm not joking, they could be 100 pages long. But what would be funny was, even though I've written it down, half of those jokes won't be in there because we'll come up with something even probably more funnier off page. Yeah. So yeah, those are my top best moments with Charlie on those projects.
Oh, amazing. Like the journey you guys have is so full of wackiness and energy. But like fast forwarding now to within more recent years, you guys have decided to make it official as business partners and set up like a registered production company. What kind of led to those choices? What made you take it to the next level?
We just felt like it was the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we were told if we needed to pitch scripts and send scripts off, or I don't know, come up with independent films, we had to have a company name, because apparently in this world you can't just knock on the door and go, "I've got a film pitch here," because I've tried that. I've been thrown out many times, and so we were told get a production company. And we already knew what we were called. We knew we were called RC Productions, Reece and Charles Productions, whatever you want to call it. Because I remember originally, when I was doing this on my own, before I registered a company, I was called RM Productions. I called Reece Manning. And then Charlie come along and he was like, RC. And I was like, all right, well, it's RC. And because I knew I was the filmmaker, he was the actor, but then he wanted to be part of what I wanted to do. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So me and him then became our own CEOs of the company. We registered it, and I'm not going to lie, it was a bit of a hassle to start off with, but we're happy we've got a company name there. We don't know if it will kick off or not, but at least we're going to start with something, and we think it might. You know, we're going to keep on hold just in case. But we've got some ideas using that company name for ourselves, what we're going to make to carry it on. I mean, it's funny because he's like we knew. As the company, I'm like the productive guy. He's the paperwork guy.
Yeah, that's how it works most of the time. Yeah, because I do with the paperwork stuff, and he does all the other bits and pieces.
Yeah. Because I mean, the paperwork for me. I mean, I'm not very good with paperwork anyway. The only paperwork I'm actually very good at is scripts. I think scripts I'm very good at with paperwork. But in terms of what this is and what that is, I don't know. But with the productive stuff, I do everything. I find the actors, I come up with the stories, and I always pitch them to Charlie. I say, right, I've got another idea for us. Do you think this will work? He'll say to me honestly, yes or no, and then we'll work it from there, won't we?
Yeah.
You know. So, but we thought, let's see where this goes.
I mean, it's great to have it because then that name is yours, and like.
Plus, we're not owned by Disney yet. They might try and get hold of us, but you never know.
I guess kind of one of the final questions is what's next? Well, what is next for you guys?
So we've got a pilot written called Headliners, which we cannot wait to make. We're going to try and put this in festivals. Well, we will put it in festivals. I shouldn't say the word try. We will. We're going to... It's a script basically about 4 journalists who try to come up with an award-winning article. But let's just say that these 4 people are useless at their job.
Yeah. This is going to be one of those. I think it's more like a sitcom route that we're aiming for this time, which we haven't done before specifically. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to starting something that is completely different, but still within our own genres.
And I think that, I mean, I've showed Charlie the script. He's very collaborative with this one, because normally I write the scripts and he just looks at them and says, okay, yes or no. But he's actually put his hand in writing on this one as well. He's actually written some of it. And he's properly being like an executive producer on this. He's literally looking at this going, I want this sitcom to be funny, but I want the characters to do this and do that. And so we've come up with our own characters. His character's called Douglas, who, I mean, you can explain who your character is.
Douglas is used to be a big shot journalist who used to work with a big shot journalistic company, but the headlines he used to write did not suit the needs of the the company, and they decided to get rid of him. And then he assigned himself into a smaller journalistic company in order to make him big, to show, like, to try and impress all the big journalist companies to make it back in again. So basically, he's trying to build his career back up by taking advantage of us, like, not take full advantage, but taking advantage of the smaller company.
And my character is called Riley, who he's a very big opportunist. He tries to think, oh, if I could get a good story here, this is what's gonna make our company go. But he's an adventurous guy, but the problem with him is he doesn't see the seriousness of these stories. He just thinks, oh, there's a story, got it there, boom, I'm gonna, it's gonna go well. But he's too positive for his own good. So, like, for example, there's an episode I've written where they have to go to a party and meet the CEO of their newspaper company. And Douglas is all, we have to be professionals here. We have to, show them that we mean business, show them that we're great journalists, no messing about. Riley only cares that there's sausage rolls.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
and how much he's going to eat in like 20 minutes, and that's what makes it funny. But when the episode gets released, we're definitely going to make it. I mean, we cannot wait to start the pilot. We think that this could start kicking off somewhere. If it 100%. Doesn't, if it doesn't by any chance, we're going to carry on making more episodes because we think we can. There's something there. And plus, we've got none other than the wonderful Sammy Simmons and Charlotte Campbell joining us.
Yeah.
Because the reason we chose them two, out of everybody we know, number one, they're best friends of ours. Number two, when we work together, the chemistry with us four is impeccable. And number three, it's just going to be downright funny with them two are in it. Because Sammy is hilarious. I mean, God, his personality himself, he's hilarious. And Charlotte, she's just as crazy as anybody else. Like, she's mad as a box of frogs. So she will definitely deliver as well. And I thought there's no better four people to do this series than these guys.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think, finally, is there anything you feel that we've missed? Anything that I've not specifically asked about that you want all the listeners to hear and know about with your dynamic duo?
Well, we can say that there's going to be no more Archie and Jim for a while. We've put that on hiatus because we feel like that ran out of steam. We actually agreed on it. I phoned him up one night and we were just talking, having a normal chat. And I said to him, mate, do you want to carry on with Archie and Jim? And he said, do you? And I went, no. And he went, me neither. Because this is the problem. I think in a way, COVID kind of did put us off a little bit. But at the same time, we did 10 episodes of Series 3. Afterwards, we were completely exhausted. We were exhausted. And we said, right, let's give it a break. Let's not do any in 2022. Let's try maybe 2023, 2024. But when I was trying to write Series 4, nothing was clicking. There was just nothing. There was no jokes. There was nothing. Afterwards, I was like, I don't know what's going on. It's not going in a direction. It doesn't feel funny. And I don't know what was going on. And every time I was trying to come up with something decent, it just wasn't going anywhere. So I phoned him up and I went, I don't want to do anymore. So we've knocked it on the head till, unless one day I have a dream and Archie and Jim pop back in and there's this magical episode that will come into my head and I'll phone him, Charlie, guess what? Got an episode idea. They do this. He might go, perfect. And we might do it. You never know. It might work. But it has to be a really, really, really good idea for us to go, yeah, let's do it. But in the meantime, it doesn't matter because we've got other stuff we're going to work on anyway. And that's what I think we need to. Because, we did Archie and Jim since, for nearly 10 years, haven't we? Really, if you think about it.
I think, what was
since
it?
2016.
Yeah, 2016, yeah. So 7 years technically because that's the last time we started.
Yeah, so about 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, yeah, you don't want to beat the dead horse, do you?
No.
You
No.
want to keep making fresh ideas.
The horse is already dead. We can't beat it any
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rotting right now under the ground as we speak. unless it's sold for horse meat like it was years ago. But you know what? I think after these 25 years, I'll come up with a final statement now, shall I say? And he can probably come up with one after. My final statement is that, Charlie is not just my best mate. I mean, he's my brother, and I've said that he's family. And he plays a massive part of my life. He's one of my favourite people on the planet, and he's made my life fun. If he wasn't in my life from the time I was 7 till now, my life would probably be, I'd probably say 90% boring, because the amount of laughs and silliness that we have had, even when we used to just go for a coffee, it'd just be a bunch of laughs because we'd sit there talking about something and then it'd just go overboard and we'd just start laughing for no reason. And those are some of my best memories, where we would just cry to death laughing over these stupid things. And then afterwards we go, yeah, all right, that's done. I mean, in a way, coincidentally, we definitely have a duo link with other duos. I'm just going to quickly tell you this now. Rick Mail and Ed Edmondson are the first ones. Do you know they used to do what me and him used to do? They used to go out together, pitch scripts to each other, and laugh their asses off. That's what me and him used to do. Oh, well, we still do now. Laurel and Hardy, apparently, I think it was Laurel, used to write scripts, and he used to tell Hardy what to do. And that's sort of what me and him do. Because I remember I went to go see the movie based on Laurel and Hardy, and I phoned him up after I saw the film, and I said, Charlie, you know Laurel and Hardy? He went, yeah. I went, they were us. He went, what? I said, they were us. One of them used to write the scripts, and the other one used to tell the other to tell the joke. He's like, really? I said, yeah. He said, but that's what me and you do. It's where and it was amazing because when I remember when I watched that film, and there's this thing because Laurel and Hardy, when one of them passed away, the other one said he never worked again. He retired because he never wanted to work with anybody else. And to be honest, if me and Charlie were this TV duo and we did loads of things, I mean, you never know. And God forbid anything happened to him, I'd probably say, do you know what, I'll pack it in as well. Because I don't think there's anybody I could ever connect with on television or working on a duo project more than this guy. It just wouldn't work. I mean, all right, yeah, I direct films on my own sometimes. I do my own bits, but he's always there to consult me. He's always there to say, yeah, that looks like good, And sometimes he'll tell me my ideas are more insane than others, But I love that he's there to tell me, and it's nice. So and the fact that it's 25 years and it's still going strong, I hope it goes on for another 25, 30 years or even more.
God help me. No, jokes. Yeah. So, for the future of us, it's going to be basically the same, pretty much, just more evolved, more like structured, better planned, and then also being with Reece, even though I'm shackled to him because he's tied me down to a 50-year contract that I can't escape from. That's something that he's forgot to mention, by the way. I'm still suffering, but it doesn't matter.
Amazing.
Joking. Yeah, like, what can I say? Having a person, like, it's very rare for people to be together, like, know each other for years upon years upon years upon years. Like
30 of them or 25 to be exact.
Yeah, 25. Oh my god. And for the fact that that's happened is an achievement in itself, and I appreciate Reece so much that it I'm like it astounds me, like, for someone like me, because I'm not very sociable as a person, to have like a close friend that I've known for 25 years and then work together and meld well together. The crazy thing is that we're very different people as well. We're absolutely
we are absolute
different.
opposites.
We like
but then they say opposites attract.
Like, okay, this is the weird part. This is kind of a dynamic of a friendship that we have. Even though we probably have very different hobbies to each other, very different interests to each other, we just meld. We just work together. You know, we're completely opposite. He's a film fanatic. I'm not much as a film fanatic as Reece is, but I do like to perform with Reece. I love to perform with Reece. It's funny as fuck. And even though I'm more of a nerdy type of person, while he's more of a, you know, more of a outgoing, wants to meet other people, talk to other people. I'm more of a person that just sits. We just meld together really well, and we've done it for 25 years. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be melding together like for, I'd say, another 50, 60.
Until our graves.
Yeah, until our graves, pretty much. Because I can't see any way out of it whatsoever.
Unless he kills me. You know, we go out one day and then he's poisoned my drink. Karen's like, why is he not home? My missus will be calling. Where, Charlie, did you see him? No, he went home. Is he not with you? He was supposed to be home 25 minutes ago.
He's got another husband.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it doesn't matter if best friends don't have anything in common. I mean, it's like, you know, sometimes me and you, we don't always have the most in common, but it's you just enjoy each other's company. If you enjoy each other's company, you have a laugh and you get on. What's the problem? And if you have a bond and you love each other as friends, what's the problem? You know,
it's not bringing that construct.
Yeah,
it's more like it's just, you know. It's fascinating that stuff like this happens, isn't it?
But then they always say that sometimes people who may not look like they get on end up getting on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, no one thought Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder would be a good duo. Look what happened with them two.
Yeah.
You know, that's another duo they've actually compared us to, by the way. Yeah. So I think I'm pretty covered. I think, are you covered with you all sorted with what you needed to say?
Yeah, I am sort of.
I guess we're all out.
No, it's been absolutely lovely to sit down with you guys and actually hear your journey. And honestly, I'm just looking forward to seeing the next 25 years.
Yeah, definitely. 25 years of more absolute chaos. But yeah, thank you for taking the time to talk to us, Megan.
No, my pleasure.